What up? Welcome back to another video. Today we're covering Toggo Glacian. This is artifact, landfall, Izzet stuff. Architect says it's bracket 2. I estimate it's close to bracket 3 because of some of the cards we play. But yeah, let's go over the deck. So Toggo, one of our commanders, 3 mana 2/2. Landfall, you make a colorless equipment artifact token that's named Rocked. It can equip to a creature and you can tap the creature to deal 2 damage to any target. Kind of irrelevant, it's just in here because we want a lot of artifacts. For Glacian, Powerstone Engineer, our other commander, you can tap him and tap X untapped artifacts. Look at the top X cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So we're just dumping a bunch of cards into our graveyard and we get a really good one in our hand. It's kind of like a tutor. Yeah, this deck is kind of usually played, I think, is like kind of a trash magic, maybe like fringe EDH list. This is much more casual. It's kind of just heavily relying on Simulacrum Synthesizer to get us wins. I guess I'll cover this card right away because it's pretty important. It's 3 mana when it enters Scry 2, and whenever another artifact you control with mana value 3 or greater enters, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token. With this token gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So we're trying to get this out and then do artifact stuff once we have it. But yeah, let's go through, I guess, the rest of the deck. So Amulet of Vigor, we're playing a lot of the bad fetch lands in this, so having this just means that all of our fetch lands, like Cityscape, whatever it's called, Vibrant Cityscape, stuff like that, Myriad Landscape will enter untapped, which is nice. We got Arcane Signet, obviously just ramp. Commander Sphere, it's a 3 mana rock instead of 2, which is a little bit worse, but it works with Simulacrum Synthesizer. You can also sack it to draw a card, and we have a bunch of ways to bring artifacts back from the trash. Crucible of Worlds will let us play our fetches from the trash or lands we mill over with Glacian. Curse Mirror, 3 mana rock that also enters as a copy of anything on the battlefield and gets haste, which is really cool. Done fun things with this, and the Sphinx that draws 2 whenever an opponent draws 1. Decanter of Endless Water, 3 mana rock, but it unrestricts our hand size. Ecologist Terrarium, when it enters, you can get a basic to your hand. You can also pay 2, tap it, sack it to put a 1/1 on a creature. It's mainly in here to get a land into our hand because we have a few of the cards that let us tap them to put a land from our hand on the battlefield, kind of ignoring the 1 land per turn requirement. Elixir of Immortality, pay 2, tap it, gain 5 life, shuffle this and your graveyard into its owner's library. This is just useful for when we go a little too low or the game goes a little too long with Glacian and we're running out of cards in deck. We don't have any ways to win when we're out of cards. I mean, I guess you just put that in, but it's a little, I think, too unreliable. So yeah, this just helps us refresh our library after a game's been going on for a while. Expedition Map, kind of in here to just grab whatever land in our deck. You can play it on 1, pay 2, sack it, and then get something else for turn 3 if you need it. If not, it can get you a specific land if you're looking for like a fetch or something. But yeah, it's pay 2, tap, sack, get a land into your hand. Inspiring Statuary, non-artifact spells you cast have Improvise. We're running quite a few non-artifact stuff. And just all our rocks being able to tap for 1 generic is pretty nice. Izzet Signet, just in here. As ramp, Repurposing Bay, this is Birthing Pot for artifacts. You can pay 2, tap it, sack another artifact, get a search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 plus a sacrifice artifact's mana value, put it on the battlefield and shuffle. So obviously this can always just grab anything from our 0 mana rocks with like a Soul Ring or an Amulet of Vigor. Alternatively, you can change your 2s into 3s like Simulacrum Synthesizer, which is the big important card in the deck. It's a cool card, I really like playing it. Sculpting Steel, this will just come in as a copy of another artifact on the battlefield, which is useful for some of our artifacts. Simulacrum Synthesizer, I've already covered, super good card. Soul Ring, 1 mana to, it's Soul Ring, why not? Swiftfoot Boots, way to protect our Glacian mainly. Talisman of Creativity, just some more ramp. Traveler's Amulet, pay 1, you can sack it and get a basic into your hand. Wayfarer's Bauble is 1, pay 2, put the basic from your deck into the battlefield tapped instead. On the creatures, we got Rootklead Powerstone Engineer. Creature tokens have haste, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, you make a 2/1 blue Phyrexian Mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. We can make all our tokens into constructs if we have a construct. If we have another random token, we can just make that. If we somehow make a token of simulacrum synthesizer, we can just have like 10 on board, which is wild. Just make all our rocks into simulacrum synthesizers. But yeah, just making all the rocks into like much better artifacts is really good. Burnished Heart, 3 mana, you can pay 3 sack it. Get 2 basics from your library, put them on battlefield tapped. Again, just a way to ramp and get our landfall stuff. Cyberdrive Awakener, other artifacts get flying, and when it enters, all your non-creature artifacts become 4/4 artifacts. Just make all your rocks into 4/4 flyers. It's a pretty good win con later on in the game. Dreamscape Artist, 2 mana 1/1, pay 3, tap it, discard a card, sack a land, search your library for 2 basics, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. It's a way to ramp, and Izzet. It's not very good, but yeah, whatever. Emery, Lurker of the Lock, affinity for artifacts, tap it. When it enters Millthorn, then you can tap it and choose an artifact in your graveyard, cast that card this turn. Being able to cast artifacts from our graveyard once per turn is nice if we mill over or like have one of our better artifacts destroyed. Ethereum Sculptor just reduces all our artifact spells by 1. Farfinder is a 3 mana 1/1. When it enters, you get a basic into your hand. So it's a way to just fill your hand with more lands. Foundry Inspector, 3 mana 3/2, artifacts cost 1 less. Goblin Engineer, when it enters, you can put a artifact card from your library into your graveyard, and then you can pay a red, tap it, sack an artifact to return an artifact with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty much every, like, at least strict artifact in our deck. Notably, it hits Simulacrum Synthesizer, it hits Crucible of Worlds, it's a bunch of really good cards. Goblin Welder, kind of the same thing. You can tap it and just choose an artifact a player controls, target artifact card in that player's graveyard, and you swap them, essentially. No CMC restriction on this one, so you could bring back like Brunaclad with it as well, which is nice. Phyrexian Manamorph, 4 mana, it just enters as a copy of a artifact or creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Poo Poo UFO, flying, this is one of those cards you can tap to put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. It's a way to kind of ramp us if we have a lot of lands in our hand, which if we're playing cards that fetch lands to hand, we'll most likely have. Quicksmith Genius, 3 mana 3/2, whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Obviously, with all the rocks we make, we can just really cycle through our deck with this card and find whatever we need. Scaretailer, 4 mana 1/4, when it becomes tapped, you can put a land card from your hand on the battlefield, or you can return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Notably, Glacian can tap the Scaretailer, which will trigger the Scaretailer to get one of these effects, which is a little nice extra value. Scrapyard Recombiner, it has modular 2, so it enters, you put 2 1/1 counters on it, and when it dies, you move the 1/1 counters onto an artifact creature. You can tap it, sack an artifact, search your library for a construct, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. We're running a bunch of pretty decent constructs, so this is just an alright card. We can essentially replace rocks with constructs. Solemn Simulacrum enters, you ramp 1, when it dies, you draw a card. Obviously, ramping on ETB is really good for this deck. Thalmonder, there's typically a 1 mana 2/2, draw 2, really good. Trophy Mage, 3 mana, when it enters, search your library for an artifact with CMC 3, reveal it, put it into your hand. Again, Crucible of Worlds, Simulacrum Synthesizer, 3 is our best number. You could play the other ones that hit like 2s and 1s, but I don't think it's worth it. Walking Atlas, 2 mana 1/1, tap, put a land from your hand on the battlefield. Again, one of those ways to kind of ramp lands from our hand onto the battlefield. Wild Field Scarecrow, it has Defender, you can pay 2, sack it, search your library for 2 basics, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle. Yeah, it's kind of like Burnished Heart, but just kind of worse. I mean, it's a 1/4 Defender, so maybe it's a little better into aggro, but yeah. On the artifacts, Gear per Aether Grid, you can tap 2 untapped artifacts, deal 1 damage to any target. It's good. Kind of removal card, or you can burn people with all the spare rocks you have if you're not tapping them all, if Glacian's not on the board. Mechanized Production, this is a super good win con card in the deck. You can enchant an artifact, and at the beginning of your upkeep, make a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. So obviously you don't even have to like attach this to a rock, and then even if you have 8 rocks, you just win the game. But yeah, this is very easy to do with like Brutaclad or just your rocks. Making 8 is pretty easy with this deck. Retreat to Coralheim, Landfall, tap or untap a creature, or scry 1. Untapping creatures obviously really nice with Glacian. Scrying 1 earlier on in the game when you don't have them can also be useful. Valka Exploration, Landfall, you exile top card of your library. You can play it this turn, And then at the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with Valakut Exploration, you put them all in your grave, and then it deals that much damage to each opponent. So you don't actually ever lose cards forever, which is nice. And it's just kind of card advantage on land drops. On the instance, offer you can't refuse, just a lot of like standard blue stuff, counter spells, affinity for artifact counter spells. Blue Sun Zenith is just here as a mana sink. Target player draws X card, shuffle it into its owner's library. You can just do this to yourself early in the game if you have nothing in hand. Counter spells, dig through time. We're putting a lot of cards in our trash, so dig through time is obviously really good with the delve. Look at top 7, put 2 in your hand. Metallic Rebuke, improvise counterspell. Yeah. Negate non-creature counterspell. Word of Invention. This is an improvise tutor for a artifact card with CMC X less. Put it on the battlefield and shuffle. The nice part about this card is you can just tap it for 3 and get like one of your artifact lands because they obviously have a CMC of 0. Or you can tap your rocks to get something better from your deck if you need to. I'll cover the lands last because there's really nothing fancy. But yeah, on the sorceries, we got a board wipe. Cleansing Wildfire, you can destroy a land. Its controller searches a basic, puts it on the battlefield, and draws a card. We're playing the Indestructible Bridge, so we might as well run this. If not, we can hit a really strong land like a Guy's Cradle or a Maze of Ith or whatever we need to hit. Or we can even just like kind of cycle our own lands around to get more rocks. Environmental Science, 2 mana, search your library for basic land, put it in your hand, and you gain 2 life. It's kind of ramped to hand in this deck. Fabricate, searches for an artifact, puts it into your hand. Reshape, it's X blue as an additional cost, sacrifice an artifact. Search your library for an artifact card with CMC X or less, put it into play, then shuffle. It's just a way to tutor out like whatever artifact we need, typically Simulacrum Synthesizer. Rise and Shine, 2 mana, target non-creature artifact becomes a 0/0 artifact creature. It gets 4/1 counters, and then you can overload it for 6 to give all your non-creature artifacts into essentially 4/4s. It's kind of like Cyberdrive Awakener, but without the flying. But yeah, I don't know. Just making all your rocks into 4/4s is really, really good. Thoughtcast, typically 1 blue, draw 2, really strong. Universal Surveillance, X blue, improvise, draw X cards. Similar to Blue Sun Zenith, except we can also tap our rocks to help cast this card. Vandal Blast, we can destroy all opponents' artifacts, just a good card. And then yeah, I'll cover the lands quickly because that was maybe board stuff. There's really not a lot. I mean, we're running like most of the cheaper fetches, Fabled Passage, Evolving Wilds, Great Furnace. All the artifact lands are obviously really good. Inventor's Fair, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 3 or more artifacts gain life, it taps for colorless, or you can pay 4 tap, sack, search your library for an artifact, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Activate only have 3 or more artifacts, which is pretty easy in this deck, so this can just tutor something for you. Izzet Boilerworks, obviously in a Landfall deck, it's just a good card. Mystic Sanctuary, we're running like 18 basics, and 10 of them being lands. It's not hard to do. Reliquary Tower is just here for utility. And then like, yeah, besides that, we're running Terrain Generator. You can pay 2 tap and put a basic from your hand on the battlefield. Just in case, I don't know. Running 37 lands in a deck that has a curve that's just mainly 1s, 2s, and 3s. We're just putting in like kind of whatever utility lands that can help us. I'll quickly go through the maybe board. There's really nothing that crazy. Armillary Sphere, this is just another way to get 2 basics. It gets put in your hand though, and for 4 mana, I'd rather play something that costs 3 mana. Darksteel Citadel is not in the deck, even though it's an artifact land. It could probably be put in the deck. Maestro Cedar, same way. It's kind of a fetch when it enters. You sack it, get an island or a mountain. I just didn't want to put in too many of these cards because they can be a little bricky. And then obviously, I don't know, just get better lands like Steam Vents. You can just play all the fetch lands in this deck. It'd probably be really good. I'll quickly look at Rex. I don't know how much I love, but Chaos Warp, sure, it's removal, but who cares? You're kind of just doing your own thing. Buried Ruin could be useful, and Academy Ruins. Cap Cannoneer as well. This card probably should have been put in the deck, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of just forgot about it, and I didn't look at this until now. You can reduce artifacts. When it enters, deals. Oh, whenever an artifact enters, if you want to go into burn, Reckless Fireweaver. Duretti, obviously, and the new Duretti as well. Sigh, although this cares about casting artifacts and it's mainly rocks. Trash for Treasure would probably be pretty good as well. There are a lot of really, really strong cards you can play in Izzet artifacts. I just wanted to do something that also cared about lands, so that's why I chose these two. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have any recommendations for the deck or anything you want me to cover, let me know in the comments below. If not, goodbye. See you next week. Bye-bye.